It's a nice sounding indicator, that, isn't it? Very relaxing. Now, if you've watched any of our videos before, you'll probably know that one of the things we like to do is lead in with a car advert, usually to demonstrate how stupid it is, because most of them are. So, here's this week's advert.
Hyundai Click to Buy is here. A smarter, hassle-free way to get a great deal on a new Hyundai. You can click to buy the all-new Hyundai i30.
But today there'll be no parody and no tomfoolery of any kind, because this advert is excellent. Well, it's not excellent, but what it does excellently is encapsulate what's excellent about the Hyundai i30. Lovely modern simplicity, that is. The i30 here is exactly the sort of no-nonsense, highly adequate car that you should be able to click to buy alongside a Ham St. Clement clock from Amazon. And if you were to buy it with your PayPal account on the internet, you'd pay anything from a shade under £17,000, which puts it at the low end of the family hatchback market, as you can see here. But it doesn't feel anything like a budget car in here. Not no way, not no hows. Well equipped across the range too, with your basics covered, even by the bottom end S car. And it's got a 5-year unlimited mileage warranty. A couple of years down on Kias, but it's still great. Hyundai does fixed price servicing and MOTs for up to 5 years too, which makes it easier to manage your costs. There are 5 trim levels in total. Now, usually with a car like this, we'd advise you to go sort of around the middle of the spec range, but actually with the i30, we'd probably tell you to jump up to here if you can. We say that because for the money, premium spec feels like an awful lot of car. It's got bigger wheels, 2-zone climate control, a touchy touch screen, navigation, proper LED headlights, and even a spongy section between the seats on which you can rest your elbow. Not sure what you call that though. And all that stuff actually works properly. The screen here is big and clear and non-frustrating, although it does look a bit like it was stuck on afterwards. The aircon controls are dead clear too, and I can indeed rest my elbow on this elbow resty thing here. It all feels really high quality in here as well. Everything's got a nice thud when you knock it.
But oh.
It's all blander than a cricket-themed special edition of Gogglebox. There's one colour in here, grey.
I was wearing a grey leather jacket with a grey tie and grey trousers.
Who's that guy? Who's the guy in the grey? And it feels like Hyundai spent so much time making this all work properly that they were then terrified of designing any of it back out. What that means though is this is a highly non-frustrating car to drive. The exact opposite of your average French car basically. And that's because the efficiency extends to the basic stuff like driving position, perfect. The girth of the door pockets, brilliant. The size of the gloves box, brilliant. And the placement of the cup holders, brilliant. If you like to complain about stuff, this is not the car for you. It gives you nothing to work with, unless you hate grey. What all this means is if you're the sort who thinks that Mike and the mechanics are a bit mental,
looking back over my shoulder,
this is probably right up your cul-de-sac. By volume, the boot is right up there at the top of the family hatchback set. But more important than the literage is the fact that, like the cabin, it too has been mindfully designed. Seats fall flat, high loading floor, etc. Definitely one of the most spacious family hatchbacks you can buy. Want to know how I know that? I asked this boy. See that i30 we've got outside?
Yeah.
What's the space like in the back?
It's absolutely mint.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. And so are the engines. There are only 3. They're all pretty efficient, especially the diesel one, of course. And there's nothing with more than 140 horsepower, not including the i30N, that is. N being Korean for GTI, I guess. This 140 horsepower engine is pretty bloody good. I'm stuck behind traffic now, so I can't show you, as was planned in the script. But it is good. Feels quicker than it looks on paper, and it's got a bit of charm about it, which is in contrast to most of the rest of this car. Really picks up from about 3,000 revs onwards. A little bit boomy, but I like it. It's much quieter than the diesel. You can get the 2 higher powered ones with a twin clutch automatic too, which will cost you £1,000, it'll make the economy a bit worse and make the car a bit slower. Whatever version you get, the i30 is sensibly priced, reasonably parsimonious, and so straight-laced that it feels like it should have a built-in swear jar. In fact, the only thing that really engages you in the i30 is this all-consuming sense of general adequacy. There's just nothing about it that you can have a go at, which in itself is winding me up. Nothing to take the piss out of in here. And what do you know, it's very safe too. 5-star safe no less, and with a Euro NCAP report that uses the word adequate at least a dozen times. As good as it is as invisible as family hatchbacks come. It says precisely 0 about who you are. It doesn't even say that you're a cheapskate because it's not particularly cheap. Now, of course, I'm exaggerating. It's not that boring really, and actually, from the outside, it does look pretty. I had a Vauxhall Astra last week, and honestly, I would take this every day of the week over one of those. It just feels better from here. It feels more sturdy, everything's clearer, and of course, you won't be parked next to an identical one every week at Asda. You know, that sort of thing. Ultimately, as good an idea as selling a car online is, assuming it works and isn't a stupid gimmick that is, I've not tried it. I think Hyundai only did it because it knows that this car sells better on paper than it does in a showroom. It has all the attributes of an excellent family car, but nothing more than that. Like nothing to make you go, yes, I want one of them. If you're a person of pure logic, you should definitely buy one of these. The end.